Hi, all my successful corporate leaders. Welcome back to day 2 of our 5-day challenge, Transformative Time Strategies for Modern Leaders. We are talking about dynamic time mastery, all right? Let's get into it because it is great to have you here as we continue to redefine leadership efficiency and, in turn, leadership excellency. This challenge is for corporate leaders who understand that each day is different and the job is hard, but somebody has to do it. But that somebody who has to do it does not mean they have to lose their entire work-life balance and end up regretting their career choice just a couple years in, okay? So yesterday, we talked about the concept of dynamic time mastery, its importance of preventing burnout, enhancing productivity, but most important of why we are all here is saving you time at work. We explored how some of the most successful leaders implemented this strategy and achieved incredible results, okay? Today, we're going to be diving into the core components of the time mastery and understanding how to effectively prioritize and transform the way we're going to be managing tasks and, in turn, our schedule. So, what is dynamic time mastery again? This is not so much about doing more in less time, which is a way to save time. That's great. And we definitely want to make the most amount of impact with the little bit amount of time as possible. But it's more about doing the right thing at the right time, okay? And this is how we're going to be maximizing our impact without succumbing to burnout or the fact that I need to give, and never take a second to really think about what I truly want to be doing every single day. So, in the email to this challenge, you would have got a link to a Google Sheet. If you didn't or can't find it, here is the URL for you as well. Go ahead to that. That is the master template that you're going to be using to this challenge to go along with. Go ahead and make a copy for yourself. Keep it close by as you're going to be using it every single day and become very familiar with it. And let's go ahead and get to it. The first thing that you're going to notice on your template is step 1 at the top, which is obtaining your own personal time data. This is how we are actually going to be sculpting your perfect schedule to save you the most amount of time. This way, you're able to make your time where it truly matters and make sure your focus is always going to be aligned with your leadership goals of what you want to be doing. So you're going to see that the worksheet is organized into daily, weekly, and monthly columns, right? We aren't scheduling anything. This is how I want you to break it down is if something needs to happen every single work day, that needs to go in the daily column. If something needs to happen every single work week, that needs to go in the weekly column. And then if something needs to happen every single month, that goes in the monthly column. I typically recommend starting by opening up your work calendar and just dump that into there pretty quickly. Look at this month. Sometimes I recommend looking at last month, kind of taking a little bit of time here and really putting these in here. Then we want to talk about the things you might not have in your calendar. So I'm going to go through an example over the next 2 days of how I crafted this for a director of sales. But sometimes there's stuff that you don't put in your calendar, but it needs to happen every single day, your work to-do list, or things that you know are recurring that you necessarily don't block out time. Prepping data for a report is a good example. Maybe lunch breaks that you don't put a break for that you really should be doing, or you drive your kids to school every single morning. Maybe there's a big goal that you want to do. We're not going to get very much into personal time, balancing alongside work time. This is the biggest focus on saving time at work. We could talk about that after the challenge if you're curious, but I just really want you to do your best to think about here. Like, here's a great example. Does Randy from the next team over, sorry, Randy, if you are on this call, always book a meeting that should have been an email at the last second at the very end of the month? What about date night with your partner that you know you need to be done with work at a certain period of time? Is there something like that you need to be considerate of? That's what I'm talking about in the personal life. If it's going to be impacting your work schedule, and we need to make accountability in your schedule to allow you to do that. All right. Go ahead then, bring your list to work with you tomorrow. Maybe did you forget something that happens routinely, like maybe at the end of a product submission, your higher up always likes to dump that last minute project that he says all hands is on deck, and then suddenly you're the only one running it, things like that. We don't want to talk about the fun of corporate worlds, but This might feel silly, okay? It might almost be overwhelming for some of you. This might be the first time you've truly taken a look at what you're doing every single day. What are you spending your time on every single day? But self reflection and just looking at everything is the first step of saving time. Think about any time somebody has dropped something huge on you and expected you to make a decision right away. The first thing you want is, I need data to make this decision. You're not able to make an informed decision without it, right? You have your gut, you have your intuition, but ultimately, if you're going to make something last effectively, you got to have data in it. This is getting your own personal data ready to make an informed decision on how to build a dynamic time strategy for yourself. What happens if you don't take the time to learn about your own data? You are going to be trapped reacting all the time. If you want to be proactive and very low stress when things come across onto your desk, this is the first step you got to do. If not, you're going to have missed deadlines, teams are going to be stressed, missed personal time, overwhelmed when that thing comes across your desk. And ultimately, why I built all of this in the first place is I'm seeing way too much burnout for corporate leaders, okay? Y'all do not deserve the stress that's be putting on your shoulders, and let's go ahead and take control back, okay? I always like to give out really value-packed content on all of my social medias. So if you ever want a little bit more value, a little bit support, go ahead to my website, shaecoach.com. At the bottom, I have all of my socials with a bunch of free leadership content there. Go ahead and get connected. Happy to have you in my network and happy to give you as much value as I can every single day. The other thing I talked about yesterday was the goodies. I want to remind you here that we do have a special offer only for challenge participants. Okay, it's going to be at the end of day 5. We are mastering the art of time management here. But not only that, if you could truly control over your time, we can talk about promotions, free time to dedicate to a side business, maybe free time to just focus on the things that truly bring you joy outside of work. Okay, so we want to make sure to handle the one step of mastering efficiency as a corporate leader, taking control of your time, saving you time at work right now. But if you want to learn some more ways to make impact for your work life or personal life as a whole, stay tuned to day 5 and you're going to access to all of that at a very special rate that's only going to be available to you. All right. So day 3, that's tomorrow, we are now going to be able to take the next step in building a schedule around what's urgent and making sure we're setting the stage for true effective task management and dynamic time mastery. Okay. Thank you all so much for joining me for day 2. Cannot wait to see you tomorrow. I hope you have a great day at work tomorrow if you have it, or a great weekend and get a little recovery. See you tomorrow, everyone.